Hello and welcome to Langlit Online. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about the various literary genres that are there in English literature. So these genres are fiction, non-fiction, poetry, prose, drama, short story, novella, myth and folklore. Let us look at all these genres one by one. Coming to fiction, we have fantasy, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, romance, science fiction, thriller, mystery or crime, horror, children's fiction, young adult fiction, new adult fiction, campus novel, religious or inspirational fiction, and flash fiction. Now, let us see what fantasy is. The books that take us to a fictional world or imaginary world inspired by the real world come under fantasy fiction. We have the example of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. Coming to historical fiction, the works or the books or the films written to talk about past or about historical events come under historical fiction. Then we have the contemporary realistic fiction. The books that are set in the real world or the modern world come under contemporary realistic fiction, and these books contain characters who are real, but the story is made up. There are some imaginary elements also present in contemporary fiction. Example for this is The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Then we have romantic fiction or the romance, the books which focus on the relationship and romantic love between two people, and those books that also have an optimistic ending, happy ending, come under romantic fiction. We have many examples from English literature, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, etc. Then we have science fiction. Science fiction mainly deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts such as science and technology, space exploration, time travel, parallel universe, extraterrestrial life, etc. Then we have thrillers or the mysteries or the crimes. And a good example of science fiction is H.G. Wells' Time Machine. In thrillers, these are the books that contain the feeling of or the element of suspense, excitement, surprise, anticipation, and sometimes restlessness, anxiety, etc. We have Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. Then we have horror. The main intention of horror books is to create some kind of fear or frighten or scare the audience. We have some works by Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven or The Telltale Heart, etc. And then coming to children's fiction, the books that are written for the moral upliftment and education of children come under the children's literature. We have a lot of examples also. Chitra Banerjee Divakarani's The Conch Bearer, Anila, A Victory Song. Then we have young adult fiction. The books which are written for readers between 12 and 18 years come under young adult fiction. That is the books which are written for the teenagers. Then we have new adult fiction. In new adult fiction or the books, we have protagonists between 18 to 30 years of age, and usually the issues that are focused in new adult fiction are like youngsters leaving home, developing sexuality, and then making a lot of career choices, etc. Then we have adult fiction. Adult fiction is something similar to new adult fiction. So both are one and the same. Then we have the campus novel. Campus novel, in these novels, we have the setting as the campus of a university or a college. And we have many examples, like one of the famous books by Chetan Bhagat, The Three Mistakes of My Life, which was also made into a film by, the name of that film is The Three Idiots, right? Everybody knows that. Then we have religious or inspirational fiction, the books that are written to provide some inspiration to the readers. And these books also focus on the religious values, ethics, and morals. And one book which has become very popular is the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. So there are many stories which provide lot of inspiration. These stories are very short, and these are also called anecdotes, etc. Then we have flash fiction. It's like a short story. In flash fiction, we have 53 to 1000 words. So this is all about fiction. Now let us talk about non-fiction. So in non-fiction, we have technical or scientific writings, historical writings, biography, journalistic writing, autobiography, self-help books, memoirs, essays, etc. So moving ahead. So technical writings are the writings which are meant for technical purposes, for communication, especially in the field of engineering or chemistry, physics, computer science, hardware, software, etc. Then we have the historical writings, the writings of history. The difference between historical fiction and historical non-fiction is here some imaginary element is given, but here it is purely based on facts and research and the data which is collected. And then we have biography. Biography is a detailed description of a person's life, a person writing about another person's life, mainly about that person's experiences, education, work, relationships, death, etc. Then we have journalistic writings. Even something related to biography is autobiography, a book that is written by a person about one's own life experiences come under autobiographies. We have Niraj C. Chaudhary's An Autobiography of an Unknown Indian, or you have Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiments with Truth, and Jawaharlal Nehru's Tryst with Destiny, etc. Then journalistic writings, these are the writings which are usually written for the purpose of imparting or purpose of spreading the news, reporting the news. These journalistic writings will be in the form of articles, journal articles or newspaper articles, and even through the audios and videos, and even social media. Then we have self-help books, the books that are written for the readers to read by themselves and get some sort of motivation by reading the books. And readers can also solve their personal problems. They can get some ideas as to how they can lead their lives effortlessly and happily. Then we have memoirs. Memoirs are it's also similar to autobiographies. In memoirs, usually a person writes about the history also. He has seen the history. It is a historical account or biography written from personal knowledge. So if that particular person lived during that particular era, if he has seen the freedom movement going on, if he writes about all those experiences, then it is called a memoir. And so in essays, we have argumentative essays, narrative essays, expository essays, descriptive essays, persuasive essays. So essay is a piece of writing that gives the author's own argument or viewpoints. We have both formal essays and informal essays. So in formal essays, we have a serious purpose. The writers maintain that decorum and dignity when they express their thoughts. One example for this could be Bacon's essays. And in informal essays, we have the personal element, the individual's tastes and experiences, the individual's own style of expressing his thoughts, etc. So what are argumentative essays? It is a type of essay that presents arguments about both sides of an issue. Sometimes we may support both the issues, but sometimes we may support only one issue more than the other. Right, so this is an argumentative essay. Then we have expository essay, an essay in which we need to investigate an idea, evaluate evidence, and set forth an argument is there. So this is called expository essay. We are just trying to investigate more into a particular idea based on some evidence. And then we have descriptive essays. Usually in descriptive essays, we try to describe an object or a person or an event or a place or an experience or an emotion or an idea. So we tend to look into the details and describe each and every detail very exquisitely or intricately. Then we have persuasive essays, writings which intend to convince the readers to believe in one particular idea or opinion, come under persuasive essays. For example, criticism, literary criticism, reviews of movies or reviews of books and editorials. In editorial also we have a lot of opinion-based writings. So it is like trying to convince the opinion of the writer on the readers. And then we have many advertisements, proposals, brochures, etc. So in a brochure, we tend to market our product or market our organization by just highlighting the positives and negative aspects of the product or the institution. So this is about essays. Then let us move ahead to poetry. We have different kinds of poetry: sonnet, ballad, limerick, lyric, ode, rondo, villanelle, etc. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. There is a strict rhyme scheme also followed in poetry, especially in a sonnet. And there are different kinds of sonnets like Italian sonnet, English sonnet, Petrarchan sonnet, etc. We have Shakespearean sonnets which are very popular, and then ballad. Ballad is a narrative story. For a ballad, we have the music as an accompaniment, and these are the dance songs. Usually, when they dance, they sing and they narrate a particular story. And usually, ballad is in the form of couplets. It means two lines. Then we have Limerick. Limerick is a humorous poem of only 5 lines, and for every line we have a rhyme scheme. Like the rhyme scheme is A B B A. So first 2 lines rhyme with each other, next 2 lines rhyme with each other, and the last line, that is the 5th line, rhymes with the first line. And it is frequently rude also. Limerick poem is very unsophisticated, and it is rude to an extent. And then lyric. Lyric is a formal type of poetry which expresses personal emotions or feelings. And usually in a lyric, we find first person narration. We have the example of William Wordsworth's lyrical ballads. Then we have the ode. If we try to praise or glorify an event or an individual, and usually we describe the nature also, then it is called an ode. So ode often celebrates a person, place, thing, or an idea. And then rondo. Rondo is a form of French poetry. In rondo, there are 10 to 13 lines with only 2 rhymes throughout the poem. Then villanelle, it's a 19-line poetic form. It's of Italian origin. Moving on, we will talk about prose. In prose, we have fictional prose, non-fictional prose, heroic prose, prose poetry, textbooks, lectures, newspaper articles. So fictional prose, The word fictional itself gives us a suggestion that there is some kind of imaginary element to it. So the difference between fiction and prose is like you have a narrative style wherein you use some language, simple sentences. But in fiction, you have lot of creativity in the use of language also. So in fictional prose, we can say that we have something which is realistic, theoretical at the same time. We have something which is imaginary. So any literary work that is wholly or partly imagined or theoretical comes under fictional prose. Novels also come under fictional prose. Then we have non-fictional prose, any literary work that is based mainly on facts. Though it may contain some fictional elements, it is also called non-fictional prose. We have essays, biographies. So we can understand that in fictional prose, some of the aspects belong to fiction also. In non-fictional prose, some of the aspects belong to non-fiction, but the style is like, prosaic in nature. Means there is a formal style employed. Then we have prose fiction. We have heroic prose. If there are some myths and folklores, legends and tales, they all come under heroic prose. We have a hero and then the story revolves around that particular hero. So a literary work that may be written or recited, and it employs many expressions found in the oral traditions. So heroic prose mostly belongs to the oral tradition. Then we have prose poetry. Poetry which is written in the form of prose instead of the verse form. But some poetic elements or poetic qualities are retained in it, like imagery, emotion, etc. Then we have the textbooks. So textbooks come under prose. In the textbook, we have some specific information related to the branch of study of the specialization. So usually the textbooks are meant for the students and for them to read for their exams and lectures. So lectures, it's an oral presentation and the presenter, he just presents information related to a particular topic. Then we have newspaper articles. So newspaper articles are usually published in print. They are also in electronic medium. So the main purpose of newspaper articles is to spread the news and the results of some research, results of elections, etc. And any academic analysis or debate. So this is about prose. And then moving on, we have drama. There are four main categories: comedy, tragedy, tragicomedy, melodrama. So a comedy is a play in which it has lot of humor and satire also. And usually the people or the incidents are described humorously. So drama is something which has got lot of dialogues, stage settings, props, sounds, costumes, etc. There are dialogues between two or three people or more than three people. And then tragedy is a play that deals with tragic events. And usually in tragedies we have unhappy endings. Especially there is a downfall of the main character. We have Shakespeare's Hamlet as an example for this. Then tragicomedy, as the name itself indicates, we have both elements of comedy and tragedy in this. Then melodrama. In a melodrama, we have a lot of music also, like along with the songs, along with the dialogues, we have music, orchestral music with lot of emotions and sentiments. So this is about drama. And then we have short story. So short story also comes under fiction because a lot of imaginary elements are there and the story is also quite creative. So short story is a piece of prose fiction that can be read in one sitting, and the focus on self-contained incidents or series of linked incidents will be there. And the length of a short story is around 5,000 to 10,000 words, and it can also be about 1,000 words. Then we have novella. Novella is a short novel or a long short story. So novella is less than a novel and more than a short story. So we have George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is a novella, and the length of a novella is usually 17,000 to 40,000 words. So we have another form called the novelette. So novelette again is lesser than a novella. We have only 7,500 to 17,000 words in a novelette. So then we have myth and folklore. So myth and folklore is it's a traditional story wherein the history of people or the history of some natural phenomenon or social phenomenon is there, and it involves a lot of supernatural element or beliefs. And folklore is the traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a particular community which has been passed from generation to generation. So these are the various genres that are there in English literature. I try to give an overview of the various genres. There might be many more which I might not have covered, but these are the few things, and hope this video was helpful to all of you. Thank you for watching.